Hello, everyone out there, VC. Tony here. Tony's LPs Are Us. Got a little video. This all started with me listening to some Stones records the other day. You know, I did the Some Girls video on the different variants of the Some Girls record, the album cover. So I pulled out Let It Bleed, which I consider perfect record, masterpiece, no room for improvement, just perfect in every way. So while I'm looking at it, here's the insert, with the credits. Here's the original. Some great stuff on here. Here's the album. So anyway, so I'm, listening to Love in Vain, and we all know, Robert Johnson wrote Love in Vain. But if you look at the credits on Let It Bleed, it has all selections written by Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, published by Gideon Music, except Love in Vain, written by Woody Payne, WOODY PAYNE, published by Noma Music, Nice Songs, BMI. And that's right here. So I'm thinking, Woody Payne, I know, what did the Stones make up Woody Payne? Did the Stones use that name out of the blue? They didn't want to give Robert Johnson credit. But that was a pseudonym that Robert Johnson used. He also used T. Colley. And other artists that used Robert Johnson songs used the pseudonym Woody Payne. We all assumed, and I think the Stones assumed that as well, that these records were in public domain. The 2 years that 37 and 38 that Robert Johnson actually recorded, they believed that those records were in public domain, but they were not. In the year 2000, a lawsuit came up, and the Rolling Stones, for Love in Vain and Stop Breaking Down from Exile on Main Street, had to pay royalties to the Robert Johnson estate. There was and is a Robert Johnson estate. And here's Exile on Main Street. And if you look at this record, this is a fantastic record, one of my favorite prior to Ronnie Wood's record, debut with the Stones. And you have Stop Breaking Down, traditional arrangement by Jagger, Richard, Wyman, and Taylor and Watts. So they actually did not give credit to Robert Johnson or Woody Payne on this one. And if you look at the lyrics, that you print out lyrics online, there's a footnote here, actually written by a blues great Robert Johnson, with no credit given in either the record or music book. So even the music book, which is the publishing book, did not give Robert Johnson credit. But like I said, in the year 2000, most of that was rectified. By the way, if you don't know, these Exile on Main Street came with a series of postcards. I believe 9 postcards, 9 or 11. Well, we can count them here, but here they are if you want to look at those. This is an original. So you have the postcards here. And they're still on their strips. Some of them are broken off. But a nice little cool, if you ever see this in the wild, if it comes with the postcards, that's a lot more value adds to it. So in my research, looking up Robert Johnson, Woody Payne, he was actually on another Stones record, Get Your Yayas Out, which has the classic, Love in Vain. But here, no credit to Woody Payne, just credited to Mick and Keith as traditional arrangers. And one of the best live albums of all time, Get Your Yayas Out. And on the back here, Love in Vain, traditional arrangement, Jagger, Richard. So here he gets no credit either. But what's interesting is when the Cream, which is prior to these records, or in the same era, when the Cream, Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce, Clapton did Robert Johnson songs, they actually credited Robert Johnson. Now, here are the Robert Johnson records that were released by Columbia. These are the later reissues. but nothing's changed on these. These are the records that were first lost are on volume 2, and this is volume 1, recorded in November 1936. But what's interesting on here is they list, 14, 15 songs, Love in Vain. The selections are in the public domain. This entire area, it indicates that these selections are in the public domain, which they were not. And here's the second volume. Then going further, the Blues Brothers, this great album. This has Sweet Home Chicago, which was written by Robert Johnson. Here it's written by Woody Payne. Another obscure one is Climax Blues Band, one of my favorite British blues band or European blues bands. This was for a 1971 recorded in June. And this has Come On in My Kitchen, Robert Johnson. But on the record, here you see the record here. This is a white label promo. And if you see the record there, they're credited Woody Payne. Come On in My Kitchen, W. Payne. And it's on Belinda Music, so it's a totally, maybe this is the different publishing company. Here we have another Woody Payne from the great Delaney and Bonnie. Another great album. Delaney and Bonnie and Friends, Motel Shot. This we have, this has a nice insert in it. Right there. And here we see Come On in My Kitchen, 1970 getaway songs, all rights administered by Noma Music. But on the actual label of the record, we have, and let's wait for a drum roll. We have Payne, just Payne. So Woody Payne is Robert Johnson. Don't know if the Stones did it on purpose or the Stones probably had nothing to do with that. Probably the Suits did that. So Robert Payne is Robert Johnson. So if you see Woody Payne on these older records, it's Robert Johnson. And of course, I'm not a blues historian. Everyone knows the story of Robert Johnson. Died at age 27, mysteriously. Either poisoned by a jealous husband, poisoned by a girl who was shunned by him or kicked aside by him. We don't know. It was either poison or gunshot. There's a million stories that go on. I'm sure there's some new stories that I missed. But just as a footnote, I don't have this on record, and I want to get this, but it's a Sky Heron record. The great poet, pre-rap poet. It's called I'm New Here, 2010, Gil Scott Heron. And he does a version of Me and the Devil, which is a Robert Johnson song. Don't know if it's credited to Payne or Johnson on the record. Since it was 2010, most likely it was Robert Johnson. But the song Me and the Devil is central to the legend of Robert Johnson, that he made a deal with the devil at the crossroads. He came back from a walk one day, or came back from some type of vacation, or little sneak away from his regular route. And he came back and he was an expert blues guitar player. And legend has it that he became a legendary blues guitar player relatively overnight because he made a deal with the devil at the crossroads. And this song, Me and the Devil, depicts the devil coming to Robert Johnson's door, knocking on the door saying, it's time for you to go with me. So it's Me and the Devil. all his songs are haunting. But this Gil Scott-Heron is worth looking it up on YouTube. I just watched it. It's a black and white video, probably circa 2010, 2011. But it's so creepy. There's people, it's like parade, but people dressed in skeleton outfits with skeleton masks, and they're interchanged with Gil Scott up close, and Gil Scott is performing the song. And he sounds, it's not just a rap, it's basically a blues. So if you get nothing else from this video, pick that up or watch it on YouTube. And just as before I forget, even Steve Miller on the Joker record, early Steve Miller record, probably on Capitol, the blues record, and that is credited to Woody Payne as well. So that's a quick video on Woody Payne. Why does he show up on Stones records? You know, who knows why, but that was rectified. I'm sure later pressings of Let It Bleed give full credit to Robert Johnson. So if you see the pressings with credits to Woody Payne, those are earlier pressings. So keep rocking. Hope you like this video. If you have any other dialogue about Woody Payne or anything about Woody Payne that I missed, I'm sure it's on. He's on a lot of records as Woody Payne, but it's truly Robert Johnson. Another pseudonym that he used was T. Colley. T. Colley, actually. T. Period Colley. So keep rocking. Thank you all for the subscriptions and the support, the likes and comments. Please comment on this. This was just a quick video. This whole Woody Payne thing, you know, piqued my interest. And when you go into this realm, it's very, very interesting. Everything's not online. I had to dig deeper than what's online on Woody Payne. You have to actually go to individual records, and they break down the credits, who's credited correctly, who's credited not correctly. So thanks a lot. Keep rocking, and see you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.